And 4 goes into both of those. 3 over 25. Okay? So we are multiplying by 1 plus 0.12 or 3/25. So we just said our fraction multiplier would be 1 and 3/25. Our decimal multiplier would be 1.12. Okay? So we are trying to find 112% of $1,600. We are making it bigger. We want to say, okay, we know that $1,600 is going to keep us the same at 100. We need to make it bigger. Okay? So instead of this, we're doing the multiplication. We're taking this 112%. We're making that 1 and 3/25. And we are multiplying that by 1,600. Okay? We know that we need to change a mixed number. We can't do that, so we need to change that to an improper fraction. So let me change my color so you can follow along. I'm going to take my 1 times my bottom number. So 1 times 25 is 25. Add 3. So 25 plus 3 is 28. I have 28 over 25 because the bottom number does not change. Times 1,600 over 1. Okay. So I multiply that out. And of course you could simplify this a little bit first before you did it, but for time's sake, we're going to get 44,800 on the top. We're going to get 25 on the bottom. We divide 44,800 divided by 25, and we are going to get $1,792. That's how much she would get for her next month of pay. When she started with 1,600, she got a 12% raise. Let's see that decimal gives us the same answer. Okay? So again, we're still finding 112% of 1,600. Okay? This of is our multiplication of 1,600. Our 112% we are writing as our multiplier 1.12. Okay? So then I have 1,600 times 1.12. Okay, 0, 0, 12, 2, 3. Drop a 0, 0, 0, 6, 1. Drop 2 zeros. 0, 0, 6, 1. I ran out of room, so I'm doing my addition over here. Okay, I have a 0, 0, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 6, 7, 1. And I had 1, 2 decimal places in my problem, so I have 1, 2 decimal places here. I get $1,792. Same thing I got up there. Okay? So you can multiply, we did this last week, you can multiply by either a fraction or a decimal of the same portion, and you're going to get the same answer. Okay? The hard part for this one was just trying to figure out what am I multiplying by, because we needed to pick that number to make it bigger, so it had to be greater than 1. Okay? So we have, hold on. It was 1,792. Okay? Which means our 12% increase. How much money did she get extra on top of her last month? So I have my total, 1,792. Subtract the portion that I know. And she got $192 extra because of her 12% raise. All right, let's take a look at another one. Tyrone makes $16.50 per hour. he is offered an 80% raise. What is his new hourly pay? Okay, so this is another raise. So he currently makes $16.50. He needs to get 80% more than what he's already making. So again, let's start by looking at a diagram. Okay, actually, let's do this. Right now, if I look at his pay, 100% of what he's getting paid right now is $16.50. That's how much he's getting paid right now. We want to give him an 80% raise, which means we are giving him 80% more on top of what he already has. So this portion is our 100%. This portion is an additional 80%. Okay, so this portion is our $16.50. This portion and this is how much more money he's going to get. This is how much his new hourly wage would be. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to look at the percents we have at the bottom. Okay, we have 100 and we have 80. We want to figure out this entire amount. So we need to add those together. We need to figure out 180% of what we have. Okay, 180%. So what percent of his original pay is he going to get? He's going to get 180% of his original pay. That's a really good raise. Okay, so I'm going to actually do the work for this one down below. So since I have more space down here. Okay, if I'm trying to find 180% of 1650, I can multiply this by 1.80, or I can multiply it by 1/80 over 100, which is the same as 1/8, which is the same as 1/2. Nope, hold on. 1/4. Okay, so I can multiply my 1650 by either this or this. Okay, well, because my money is already in a decimal version, I'm going to choose to do it this way. I could do it either way. I could do it both ways to check my work. You really only need to do it one way because as we've seen in our previous problems today, we get the same answer either way. Okay, we got the same answer there, and over here, we got the same answer either way. Okay, it doesn't really matter which one you choose. It's mostly which one you feel more comfortable with. So in this one, like I said, I'm going to go with the decimal version because my money is already in decimal version. So I feel like that's going to be a little bit easier for me, but I'm going to have to count quite a lot of decimal places when I'm done this. So I have 16. I'm actually just going to do 0.5 because I don't really need that 0 since it's at the end and there's a decimal before it. Same thing with this one. Times 1.8. 8 times 5 is 40. 48, 49, 50, 51, 52. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Drop my 0. 5, 6, 1. Add it up. I have 1, 2 total decimal places. And that is Tyrone's new hourly wage. He is now going to be making $29.70 per hour because he got an 80% raise on top of what he was already getting paid. Okay, that's a pretty good raise. But you see how what I did? I figured out, okay, I need 180%. That was the big decision I had to make. What's the percent that I'm trying to figure out? Once I figure that out, then I can say, okay, well, this is my decimal version. This is my fraction version. Which one do I want to multiply by? Okay, I got to choose for that one. All right, let's take a look at our last one. And again, these are all example problems based on what you're going to be working on for your lesson this week. I pulled the exact same problems, put different numbers on them, similar to how we do reviews in classes. So if you feel like you need to look back at the video and just find whatever question you're working on, they're very, very similar. All right, So for this one, there's a diagram set up already. We know that 0% is $0. That makes sense. We know that 100% is $240. We have a 15% here. We don't know what this is, okay? And we also have another percent down here that's not filled in, but by process of elimination, we can say 100 minus 15. This is going to be 85% here because that's my missing portion. But up here, we just have an X. So I can't figure out what this is because I don't know what this is. Okay? So they tried to write an equation to figure out what X is. So the equation that they came up with was 240, that's our total, times 0.15, which we know is the same thing as 15%, equals X. So if I find 15% of 240, is that going to give me my X? Okay, the answer to that is no. 15% is going to give you this missing portion up here. It is not connected to that X. So does this make sense? No, it does not make sense. Okay, the equation we should be doing to figure out X is 85% of 240 is going to give us X, because 85% is this portion right here. That's going to give me my X. So then I look at it, I say, okay, 85%, I can use 0.85 for that. Or if you like doing fractions, you could always do 85 out of 100. And I'm going to do 0.85 times 240, and that's going to give me my X. So let's go ahead and do that. 240 times 0.85, 0, 20, 12, 0, 16, 17, 18, 19. Again, ran out of space. And I have 2 decimal places. Okay, so it's going to be 204. So X, this portion here, is 204, which makes sense. 85% is a big portion of the whole, so 204 is a big portion of 240. Now, a good thing to look at when you're doing these problems and getting an answer is if you came up with a number up here that's greater than this, you definitely know you did something wrong. If you came up with a number that was really small up there and you're figuring out 85%, which is really, really high percent, then you know you did something wrong. So that's why these diagrams come in handy. They help us to figure out, does the number we came up with, does it make sense? Okay, does it take up the majority of this number that we started with? Okay, all right, so that's all we have for 7.1.3. You guys have been doing a really nice job asking questions on Schoology, emailing or messaging myself or Mrs. Hoyser, depending on what class you're in. I have done and Mrs. Hoyser has also done a couple of Zoom one-on-ones with people who needed them, or small groups. So if you feel like you need extra help after listening to the videos and trying the problems on your own, definitely don't wait until Friday to reach out to us. Just let us know that you need some extra help, and we'd be more than happy to help you out. But this video, like I said, it's meant to be a reference for you.